Hello there and welcome to CoreTV News at 4 with me, Sabina Izuku. Following the recent successes of the Nigerian Armed Forces against Boko Haram insurgents, the Chief of Defense Staff, Alex Bade, has attributed the victory so far recorded to the support given by the federal government through provisions of better caliber weapons. Alex Bade says weapons are not items one can get off the shelf, adding that the federal government deserves recognition for the provisions of weapons.
That the president has adequately equipped the armed forces, and that's why you are seeing the results that we're getting right now. You don't fight an enemy that has the same kind of equipment with you. You need something a little higher than what he has, and the president has provided those ones, and that's why we are moving, and we're moving very, very fast.
The Army Chief added that there is nothing political about provisions of weapons or the postponement of the elections, but a part of President Jonathan's job as Commander-in-Chief.
War machines are not picked up on the shelf. If they were on the shelf, we wouldn't have gotten them. When you make order, it takes time to produce. It takes time to train on them. So it's not today we started. We started a long time ago, before the war became very bad. We had placed orders for those things, and they started coming in, and that is why the president, that's why we say we needed time to finish these insurgents before elections. And I can guarantee you that there's absolutely no politics in that. It was just based on when we were receiving the equipment.
Have you received everything?
Away from that, security agencies in Kano State have warned residents of the Asian city against boarding vehicles at illegal bus terminals and motor parks. They say this is to avoid terror attacks on soft targets. Head of security agencies said at a stakeholders meeting in Kano State that the proliferation of illegal parks in the city possesses a security threat. At the time, insurgents have been launching bomb attacks on passengers' vehicles. They have also resolved to clamp down on operators of such parks.
It's not only those of us that are in uniform that are there. You have different layers of security. You have your own personal security. It's like some of us, if you're in your house, you have to lock your doors. You have to secure your family. You don't need us to do that. If you go to your place of work, it's also your responsibility to secure that place. And that kind of thing. No matter how it is, sometimes you have to lock the windows, you have to do this. So then you now have institutional security, so all these layers of security exist, and we should take it like that. That we all have responsibilities at different levels to secure both ourselves, our properties, and also properties and lives of other people.
Now everybody should know, whether it's a small park or a big park, we should start searching. As that searching is going on, you know what these people do is that they send surveillance teams. The duty of the surveillance teams, they send, when they are sending surveillance teams to Kano, is that go and see what they are doing in Angwaku Motor Park. Go and see what they are doing at the Luxurious Park. Go and see what they are doing at the park at the railway. Go and see what they are doing at the Kano Line Park. These surveillance teams, as they go back and they tell them, well, at the Luxurious Park, those people, they check. So no go there. If you go there, they will catch you. They say if you go to the other part, they say those people they check. If you go there, they will catch you. But they say if you go to Kano Line, they check that one. If you just enter like this, you drop your ADC and you go to paradise. So we should not allow that. All parks have to ensure that they check.
The police authorities in Kano State have advised imams of Jumat Mosque to set up security perimeters consisting of resource personalities. This, according to the police, is with a view to putting a stop to a situation where youths carry weapons at mosque in the name of providing security. Commissioner of Police Ibrahim Idris delivered the message at a meeting with the imams on security issues affecting the mosque. The police also advised that they conduct searches on people to ensure that no one goes in with dangerous weapons. They were further advised to liaise with their divisional police officers in their area in order to provide effective security coverage. For their part, the imams expressed deep appreciation to the Commissioner of Police for a meeting with them twice since assuming office in the state. They also pledged to ensure peaceful coexistence in the state by teaching good religious and moral values. Following the twin bomb blast in Jos, with one detonated at the University of Jos, unsubstantiated online and print media publications had aired that 12 students from the university died in the incident. The Vice-Chancellor of University of Jos, Professor Hayford Mafuyai, at a news conference refuted the reports which are termed biased, malicious and baseless. He said one student of the institution sustained a minor injury. The Vice-Chancellor therefore threatened to press charges or report the malicious publications to the Press Council of Nigeria. He said due to the damaging effect that the said publications could have on the university image, demanding that the
those publications on the front pages of their papers and to report what is the correct thing, because if that doesn't happen, the university will make recourse to other options that are available to us, including, for instance, but not limited to, reporting to the Press Council and also considering legal options, because this is very damaging to the university and it's very unfortunate. Something that they had wanted would have verified and gone to press with it. So we demand that they should retract that and report the correct thing.
The Vice-Chancellor therefore pleaded with the media to help allay the fears of the general public that the institution is safe for academic purposes by reporting the truth as the school authorities are in constant touch with the security agencies.
And I repeat, one student of the University of Jos that is injured, and not even fatally injured. She's to be discharged today. Before I came to you here, I went to see her in the hospital where she's hospitalized. And we spoke very well, and she said she just wants to go back and write her exams. She has a paper to write tomorrow. So we don't know where these sources have come to say that our students have been so fatally, badly affected in the bomb blast. Our partners in all that we're doing have a very huge role to allay the fears of parents and guardians, and even the government at all levels. Tell the story correctly as it is, and on this occasion we are appealing to you to report as we have so indicated.
There is palpable tension in Uroko Ekiti host community of Ekiti State University, with residents of the community protesting against the incessant power outage, which has also spread to other communities like Afawo Ekiti, hometown of the governor, Ayofayoshe, and the governor's chief of staff, Dikbo Anishuolu. The protesters, who were met by the chief of staff, rebuffed all entreaties by Dikbo Anishuolu. In the ensuing confusion, the police fired canisters of tear gas to disperse the angry mob. The protesters are, however, back on the streets at the time of filing this report, as the police calls for more reinforcement. And away from that, we'll just take a short break, and when we return, all marketers have denied allegations that the nationwide fuel shortage has a political undertone. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical, women being so powerful yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back to the news. For more information, you can reach us on our social media platform, and that's on facebook.com/CoreTV News. On our Twitter handle, @CoreTV News NG. For news updates and other programs, you can stream live on youtube.com/CoreTV Space and the news. oil marketers have denied allegations that the nationwide fuel shortage has political undertones. They say now that the authorities have released money to them, the situation will improve. Marketers specifically say queues will disappear in Lagos and Abuja within the next 12 hours. The report.
It's almost a week since these fuel queues were first noticed in some parts of the country. Now, it's a nationwide problem with claims and counterclaims by politicians. Oil marketers have, however, cleared the air on the situation. After receiving part payment of what is owed them, they admitted that money is at the root of the fuel shortage. The marketers were also quick to dismiss allegations of sabotage for political reasons.
Let me make it clear. For me, I'm not a politician. The only duty I'll perform as a Nigerian is to get up from my house and go and vote on the day of voting. We don't do politics. Ours is, we brought in product, there's need to reimburse us, the money didn't come on time, okay? And so our ability to sustain supply was hampered. That is all.
They also gave clear assurances on the disappearance of fuel queues in major cities.
It's unfortunate the whole thing happened that way, but it won't, the whole thing will start easing off. In Lagos, I assure you, it will start easing off from today because of the volume that we have put into the market. Okay, Abuja, because of the distance, because we are still moving this product from Lagos to Abuja, okay, and it takes some days for trucks to transit Lagos, Abuja.
The marketers are convinced that only the deregulation of the downstream sector will put a stop to the situation that led to the fuel shortage. They are also demanding the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill.
Away from that, former Chief of Defense Staff, retired General Martins Luther Agwai, has described the current state of Nigerian security as unfortunate and disastrous to the developmental future of the country. He stated this at Obasanjo's 78th birthday lecture titled An Agenda for the Developmental Future of Nigeria in Abeokuta. The former CDS urged Nigerians to vote wisely in the March 28th presidential election, noting that only change can restore sanity to the country. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned 23 suspects for illegal oil bunkering before a federal high court in Lagos. The suspects were docked before Justice Ibrahim Buba on a 3-count charge of conspiracy, illegal dealing and storage of petroleum products. They were arrested by a naval patrol team aboard MV Long Island and handed over to EFCC, the operators, for investigation and prosecution in December last year. The accused persons pleaded not guilty to all the charges of dealings in petroleum products illegally when they were read to them. Justice Buba granted bail to the accused persons in the sum of 50 million naira each and one surety in like sum, who must be a resident of Lagos with landed property within the jurisdiction of the court. The case was adjourned to March 23rd, 24th, 25th, and the 2nd of April 2015 for commencement of trial. And away from that, the Police High Command has warned some members of the public to desist from inciting junior police officers to disrespect their oath of office. It also insisted that it will not tolerate any form of indiscipline in the form of strike, adding that any policeman engaging in such acts will be arrested and sanctioned. The police statement quotes Inspector General Suleiman Abba has saying that any policeman engaging in such acts will be arrested and sanctioned. He also reminded junior police officers on the dangers of disobeying superior orders and acting outside the confines of police code of conduct. Suleiman, however, assured them that efforts are ongoing to meet the welfare of all police personnel, including the payments of promotion arrears. And away from that, the All Progressive Congress has raised the alarm over what it described as steps being taken by the PDP-led federal government to ensure that the general elections is in its favor and it will subvert the will of Nigerians. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Lai Mohammed, made these allegations in Lagos while speaking to journalists. Patience Ajiboye, our correspondent, was there and filed on this report.
National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Lai Mohammed, who spoke to the media in Lagos, says the PDP has, amongst other plots, employed 2 Israelis and a Belgian to tamper with electoral material to give the party a huge advantage that will lead to its victory in the general elections.
There's a plot to transfer a humongous amount of money into the bank account of the INEC chairman, Professor Jega, and then claim that the money came from the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC in order to justify the ongoing plan to sack Professor Jega so he won't organize the elections. There's a plan to use some political parties that are satellites of the PDP to push for the postponement of the election again. The intention is to make sure Jega's tenure expires before the polls so that they can appoint a malleable card-carrying member of the PDP as INEC chair to conduct the polls.
He added that the desperation of the PDP to win the elections at all costs is despicable and unprecedented in the history of the nation.
Those at the helms of affairs have grown so desperate that they do not even want the elections to hold. And even if the elections must hold at all, they must be held on their own terms. That is, no PVCs, no card readers, no Jega, and the military must be deployed to intimidate voters.
He says the alleged plot came to the knowledge of the party through well-meaning Nigerians who do not want the failure of the democratic process.
The detailed plans by the desperate administration and the PDP are part of the massive intelligence we are receiving daily from patriotic Nigerians within and outside the government who are eager to see the organization of a free, fair, credible and violence-free elections that will catapult Nigeria to the League of Truly Democratic Nations.
He thus establishes that no process is strong enough to stop people from seeking change, and also calls on all Nigerians, as well as international bodies, to be on the lookout for the anti-democratic antics of the PDP. Patience Ajiboye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The People's Democratic Party says it is not strategizing to shift election dates contrary to suggestions by the All Progressive Congress. It also insisted that it has no plan to either frame the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega, or arrest any opposition leader before the elections. Spokesman for the PDP presidential campaign team, Femi Fani-Kayode, maintained that the latest claim by the APC shows that it has lost focus. It also argued at a news conference in Abuja that the opposition party is now resorting to falsehood to gain public sympathy after realizing that it will lose the March 28th elections.
The truth is that we are not strategizing to shift the election dates. We are not trying to frame up Jega. We have no plans to plant any illegal substance in the bags of any of the leaders of the APC whenever they travel. We are not trying to compromise the telephone numbers of any of the INEC officials. President Jonathan is not planning to arrest opposition leaders before the elections. The presidency has not retained the services of any foreigner to corrupt or compromise INEC computers on election day. And we are not planning to do any of the other reprehensible things that they have alleged. The truth is that if they were in our position, these are the sort of sordid things that they would do. Such dirty tactics and filthy things are a way of life and an art with them. But for us, such things are alien, perverse, and unacceptable.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is to carry out field testing of card readers in 12 states, including Lagos, on the March 7th. The exercise will hold simultaneously in the states selected across the 6 geopolitical zones. INEC also revealed that over 55 million permanent voters' cards, representing 80.24% of the total number of cards, have so far been collected nationwide. As part of preparations for the general elections, the Commission has scheduled a series of meetings with resident election commissioners, political parties, and international observers in the coming week.
We are prepared for the elections proper. Each voting point, we have a card reader, and like we said, we are going to have what we call redundancies. There will be spares. If by chance anyone gets technically faulty, they will be quickly replaced. But I know that it will cover 12 of the 36 states and the FCT. Yeah, so we have chosen 2 states in each geopolitical zone.
Away from that, we're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll take you outside Nigeria. Do stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back to the news. And outside Nigeria, U.S. Ambassador to South Korea, Mark Lippert, has been injured by a knife wielding attacker in Seoul. Lippert, who was attending a breakfast meeting when he was slashed on his face and left hand, was taken to a hospital, but his injuries were not life-threatening. Witnesses said the attacker is a 55-year-old man with a history of militant Korean nationalistic activism, shouted demands for North and South Korea to be unified. He was subdued by security officers and arrested. South Korean President Park Geun-hye says the incident was an attack on South Korea-U.S. alliance. The attacker also expressed opposition to annual military exercises held jointly by South Korea and the U.S., which are currently underway. North Korea has described the exercise, which involved more than 200,000 troops, as a rehearsal for an invasion and has vowed retaliation. However, there is no evidence that the attacker was an agent of North Korea. A small group of South Koreans believe that the American military presence prevents unification of 2 Koreas. The assailant had previously thrown concrete at the Japanese ambassador to South Korea. He also has a record of militant Korean nationalistic activism. Lippert, a former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Defense, was appointed ambassador to South Korea in 2014. U.S. President Barack Obama has called Lippert to wish him the very best for a speedy recovery. Lippert later tweeted that he was doing well and he was in great spirits. He will be back ASAP to advance U.S.-South Korean relations. And that's it on the news on the hour at 4. Do join us at the top of the hour for Global News. I am Sabina Zoku, and thank you very much indeed for watching.